Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and welcome to Knife AQ episode 148, the knife series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. This week is the weekend before Thanksgiving. I've got a lot of stuff to be thankful for, so let's get right into it. All right, everyone, welcome to the Knife AQ series. The way these things work is you folks have to leave your questions down in the comments below if you have something you think is worthy of discussion, and then we comb through and pick some out for future episodes. So there you go. This week, I did mention, we're right ahead of Thanksgiving, and the holiday season, the gift-giving season is going to kick into high gear. But really, a lot of it boils down to being thankful for what you've got. Being thankful for the state of things. Check out the video we released earlier this week on what I think are some of the best new knives of the year, and they all happen to be more affordable options compared to a lot of the stuff out there. As knife enthusiasts, that's really great. That's something to be really thankful for. And yeah, there's a lot of things that are way more meaningful to be thankful about, but this is a knife channel, so that's what we talk about.
That's my thing.
That's kind of our thing. That's exactly right. But we're going to talk about, how to make other people happy with this episode. First question comes from Blood Gain. Bit macabre.
Better than blood loss.
True. Very true, actually. Anyway, what folding knife would you get for someone as a gift if you knew you would be the one who will end up maintaining it? For example, for one's mother. For your mom, actually, it says. How do you know my mom? Anyway, I'd like to stay under $100-ish, and bonuses, non-spring assist and finger safe closure would be pluses. All right, sure, I do have a few options right here. The thing to think about here is, well, before I get into that, some of my kind of default recommendations for this type of thing, before we even get into the what if you are maintaining it part of your question. The Delica and Dragonfly series from Spyderco are great options, can be had for less than $100 in almost all cases. Even this fancy stainless steel version with Dragonfly graphics is just under that $100 mark. And the reason I gravitate towards these, there's two main considerations here that these knives satisfy. You did not mention whether this is something you think your mom would be carrying in a pocket or maybe in a pocketbook or purse. Either way, this is going to work. Lady pockets, sorry to the ladies out there, are a lot smaller than most men's clothing pockets, and the Dragonfly is something that will fit very easily in smaller pockets. And if it's not pocket carried, if it's in the purse, the back lock is nice because there's a strong pull towards closure. So less likely for it to come open, even partially open in the purse, banging into other things, cutting things in the purse, cutting a hand that reaches in for those things in the purse. So that's an easy thing right there to recommend. And the VG10 steel on here is going to be easy for you to maintain, resharpen, even reprofile if you have to. Because I think kind of implicit in this question is, something that the person who's using it may not kind of treat them as nicely as us knife aficionados would. In a way that's kind of nice because they're using the knife to, they're just using the heck out of it. There's something cool about that too, but you wouldn't want to be reprofiling super hard, super abrasion resistant steel either, now would you? VG10 is great, and this is a great knife for everyday carry. About a 2.5-inch blade, full flat grind, it's just slicey. Especially this version right here, it's very inoffensive or non-tactical, which could be a very good thing. Doesn't nail your finger safe closing, however, here, so I have something else to take a look at. So I'd make this one kind of under duress, but the Swags Swayback with the button lock. It's about $59 for this version with a red Richlight handle, which is basically paper micarta. Or is this actually paper micarta and not Richlight? It's hard to tell by feel because they feel virtually identical. But in any case, it's got a cool color. The Wharncliffe blade on here, highly effective and very useful, very acute tip, can pierce quite nicely, and it just is a strong feeling cutter. and it has a button lock, which is nice. The other thing that's kind of cool is for your mom specifically, this is a knife designed by a woman. This is a Swags design, potentially for women to use as well. It's a little bit bigger than the Dragonfly, but still not humongous. And here's why I say I make this recommendation slightly under duress. It does have a strong detent, which will help keep it closed, but something like this is more likely to pop open than a backlock and less likely to pull back into itself at the same time. But if you really want the finger safe option, this wouldn't be a half bad way. The N690 steel here, in a similar ballpark to VG10 performance-wise, and if it gets mangled up, if that tip gets snapped off, if the edge gets all chipped and warped and mangled, you'll be able to maintain it or reprofile it a lot more easily than something like this next suggestion. This next suggestion is sort of out there, but hear me out. This is the Microtech UTX 70. It's about $246, so it blows your budget way outside of the range, and it has M390 steel, I believe. Yep, M390 on this version, which is not something that's going to be as easy to reprofile when it inevitably gets chewed up through misuse. But Thomas over here actually had a good thought today, or a good insight on a knife. Doesn't happen every day.
Not every day.
That's something that I'm thankful for, that you actually, contribute. No, I'm kidding. But what you want to do here, don't let this knife get to the point where it needs major work and reprofiling. Get yourself a decent sharpener, leave it at mom's house, and every time you're over there, hone it up. Make sure it's still in good shape. Yeah, you might have to go to mom's house a little more often, but come on, call your mother. Wouldn't she be happy to see you a little more often? You can thank Thomas for that advice. It's a good one.
She gets a sharp knife out of it.
Yeah, exactly. The cool thing about this too is, the colors are nice. There's a lot of different colors can be had. The blade itself is short, but the edge lasts a long time. OTF is very finger safe and very unlikely, not impossible, but very unlikely to come open in a purse and small enough to fit in a pocket. This is a 2-point-something inch blade. What is it here?
A small one.
This is the sub 2-inch California compliant version. There's also like 2.4-inch versions. But think about this for a second. Nowadays, most OTFs tend to, how should we describe this charitably? Reek of testosterone. Like, it's a very type of genre. Traditionally, before the 1960s, OTF knives and automatic knives were often recommended as an alternative to traditional nail nick opening slip joints for women. Like, you can look back I've seen some Schrade examples of them marketing OTFs towards the females for that exact reason. It's easier than some traditional slip joints, and you don't have to, for women who do like to get fancy with their nails, very kinder to the nails as well. So there you go. Kind of, looking back on history and seeing things that were a little different back in the day, which is kind of fun.
Nice pocket slip for it will work too.
Sure, could do. You take the clip off, I guess, if you want to.
And on the Swags.
Oh, this way. Yeah, it's a little bigger, but that could be an option if it's left in the purse inside a slip, especially to keep it closed. Is that what you're thinking?
That's 2 smart thoughts I've had.
Ooh, write that down, folks. Anyway, I hope that helps. And I know, like I said, that last one completely blows your budget out of the water and completely runs counter to the other types of steel I would actually recommend, but it was fun to think about, so we thought we'd share. Next question comes from Morshkri, I guess. Also, question: best multi-tool for someone in the IT field, mainly fixing Chromebooks, running cable, that kind of stuff. This one's almost too easy, unless you've already thought about this and decided it's the wrong tool, in which case, egg on my face. But the Victorinox Cyber Tool Swiss Army knives, the 34 version especially, is one that I would like here. It's about $139, so it's not inexpensive. But actually, this one says 34 too, but it's not the same one. It's the 34 Lite. So the 34 Lite adds some things to this, and we'll get to that in a minute. That's like $170. But you got your blade, and you got your big and small blades like a typical Swiss Army knife. You've got a pair of scissors on this version, which is always useful, IT crowd or no. You've also got a few things that are going to be very conducive to working with smaller electronics. One being this small set of pliers right here, which can be real useful for pulling something off of a circuit board, or removing pulling connections for wiring harnesses, that sort of thing. But kind of the pièce de résistance of this model, the whole reason for it to be, or raison d'etre, if you will. That's 2 French phrases today in rapid succession.
Someone get this man a baguette.
Succession rapidement. I don't know if that's French or not, actually. I could go for a baguette.
Carbs are good.
Carbs are great. But we digest. Here is the... Dang it, I can't help myself. Precision bit driver. Utilizes I believe it's a standard 4mm bit, actually, but it is the ball detent style. This is not a magnetized bit holder, but it has some double-ended bits stored here in the handle as well. Really useful for taking apart small screwed electronics and that sort of thing. Other goodies that are going to be useful for that profession. The corkscrew here on the back does come with a small flathead screwdriver, but there are other implements you could stick in there, including a SIM card removal tool, which could be useful. You've also got the pin in the scales, which can be useful for finding those reset switches on hardware that's usually recessed and you need a pin or a paper clip to get to. Definitely useful there. And you've got toothpick and tweezers, and you've got the pressurized ballpoint pen as well. So that's kind of tailor-made for that sort of thing. You could always go with like a Leatherman or the Victorinox Swiss Tool products if you think they need something beefier, heavier duty, more general purpose. But the answer to this one almost wrote itself here. I think they're very cool. I did mention the 34 Lite version that is also available. That adds a small magnifying glass, which could be useful for reading part numbers off a bunch of tiny electronics components, and has an LED light as well. So you can check those out. Hope that helps. Next question comes from Oscar Zen. My question, what to use to whittle the inside part of a spoon? It seems to cause the most issues with a standard knife. Certainly does, and they make something perfectly specialized for that, and that is the hook knife or the spoon knife. This is a Mura or Knif 164. Actually, this is a left-handed hook knife. Interesting. They make versions of these that are single-edged. They make versions that are double-edged. But once you have your bowl section ready to be carved out, it's kind of this motion right here. If this would be a left-handed version, so you're doing this. The reason this is included in this particular episode is homemade spoons are great gifts. They're fantastic, especially when you get good at them. Your first one may or may not be all that good. But yeah, you get good at them. One, it's very satisfying to do. It's very satisfying turning a hunk of wood into something actually useful. But it's very zen as well, and it's a gift that you've made, and people really appreciate that sort of thing. I find even more than something that's purchased. So check those out. Well, now we come to our lightning round for today. First question is from CW9615. I'm looking for a pen that can go right next to my pocket knife, which is typically clipped to my jeans pocket. Should be close to full length and won't accidentally deploy. Needs a sturdy clip. I beg the question, what would you suggest? Well, you don't have to beg. I'm pretty easygoing. Basically, any pen with a bolt action is the way I would go. It's the way I actually do go, in fact. Because you mentioned in your question, won't accidentally deploy. The bolt action gives you the convenience of a clicky top pen, but it doesn't accidentally click when the end is sticking up out of your pocket. And it's very easy to deploy, no problem. The clip on this right here, this is a Chavez pen. This is the Ultramar solid titanium bolt action pen. It's expensive, it's about 135 bucks, but it's not as expensive as some bolt action pens out there. Robust build quality, the clip is pretty sturdy. It's milled, as you can see, nice thick connection point there into the handle. A little bit reeking of testosterone, we talked about before with the skull motif on there. But there are so many options in the bolt action world. I would just kind of, search bolt action in our website, click on the pens if you need to filter it down further, and see what's available, because there's a lot of cool stuff. The other option is any kind of capped pen, especially if it's got screw threads to hold the top on. Almost impossible to deploy. Not completely impossible. And in the spirit of showing some gifty things, I would suggest checking out this Mike Bond designed CRKT pen. This is the TI2 Techliner Super Shorty pen. It has a cap that's magnetic, which is just super fun. It's like 37 bucks too. It's not that expensive. It's colorful. It's magnetic on both sides, and you got a nice little pen there. Very easy to fit in a lot of compact EDC loadouts as well. Check something out like that. Next question, which is our most serious question of the day, which comes from Jeremy 2. What knives are good as a hot chocolate stir stick blade? Well, my friend, you want the K-Bar spork knife. Right here. It's a K-Bar knife. Don't believe me?
No, I don't.
Do you now?
You convinced me.
You can stir your thing up, and you can stir it up with both if you like. And then, yeah, that's what you want. Available in 3-packs for like 20 bucks. So this actually makes fantastic stocking stuffers. Buying just one's about $9.50. Or like I said, you get 3, each one a different color for about 20. So divvying it up between a few stockings, that would be the way to go. That would be my suggestion. Now I want hot chocolate.
I can't help you.
Unfortunate. Well, that's all we have for today, folks. Let me know what you've been kind of thankful for this past year down in the comments. I know it's kind of a cheesy prompt, but I'm interested, truly. Let us know. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, or pens, check out the links in the description to take you to KnifeCenter.com. While you're there, don't forget about our Knife Rewards program, which basically means when you pick up one of these knives today, whether for yourself or making someone else happy, you get to earn some free money to spend on a future one. So really, buying a gift for someone else is a self-serving thing.
Go get them.
Does make me feel good, though. That's all we've got. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera, and we're signing off. See you next time.
Subscribe.